Amit Segal is an Israeli journalist. He is the chief political commentator for Israel's Channel 12 News, and he writes a newsletter called It's Noon in Israel. He joins me now from Jerusalem. And Amit, thank you. You are very well sourced. What do you understand to be the timing and process for the hostage release?
It's supposed to be very short and hectic, commencing tomorrow at 6 a.m. Israeli time and must end on Monday, 12 p.m. So there are 6 hours to release 20 live hostages, and give or take, according to the assessment in the Israeli intelligence, something like 19 to 20 bodies of deceased hostages, bringing it all together to 39 or 40. This is the time frame, and when you add to this the shortest visit in the history of U.S. presidential visits in Israel, we can get one of the most hectic days in Israel's history.
Yeah, just how challenging is that hostage release going to be on the ground? It'll be followed, of course, by the release of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Just give us some detail, some sort of granular detail on what you would expect to be happening.
So first of all, according to the deal, the first Palestinian murderer is to be released only after the last Israeli hostage is back home. However, because Hamas probably doesn't know the location of 8 to 9 bodies of deceased hostages, so what we might look is those 39, 40 hostages back in Israel, and then Israel is to release all the terrorists it had agreed in the first place. We speak about something 250 murderers with the blood of something like 600 Israelis on their hands, and in addition 1,700 detainees from this war, except those who killed and murdered on October 7th itself.
Can you just give me your sense, your response to the scenes that we saw in Hostage Square last night late? Steve Witkoff there, Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, speaking to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people supporting the hostage families. Some cheers, some real support for Donald Trump and his role clearly in getting this deal across the line. Boos for the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I just want to get your sense of what you saw.
I would like to explain to the American audience, Tel Aviv is mainly, it's like a blue state in Israel. This is the most anti-Netanyahu place in the country. And I think if there are 3 people that are well familiar with derangement syndromes, they are Witkoff, Kushner, and Ivanka Trump. So they are quite familiar with the fact that Netanyahu is not the most popular figure there, to say the least. There is anger from at least the center-left, is on the way Netanyahu have been treating this hostage deal policy. On the other side, there is a wide cross-camp support for the deal in Israel, something like 80% who support to 8% only that oppose. So I'm not sure, to say the least, that many Israelis liked this booze in the square. First of all, because half of the country doesn't agree with the fact that Netanyahu was not to be praised for the deal, and second, because I'm not sure this is, to boo a special U.S. envoy to the Middle East only because he praised Netanyahu is not something very smart, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not sure. I think, let's be quite clear. I don't think the people in that square last night were booing Steve Witkoff. They were, and it was clear that he wasn't, I don't think, surprised by what he was hearing.
Of course, they praised him and they said they hail to Trump. However, when he tried to say something positive about Netanyahu, there was a lot of boos.
I want to bring up a map of the Israeli withdrawal line in Gaza. This was released by the Trump administration. You've been reporting that Israel's withdrawal in Gaza is significantly deeper than known. Obviously, this is very much part of the ceasefire deal holding together at this point in anticipation of the release of hostages and a huge surge in humanitarian aid. What can you tell us about that and why?
Okay, so first of all, according to the maps, quite illustrative. To be honest, Israel is to control, to hold at least 53% of the Gaza Strip territory. However, when you take a deep look at reports from soldiers on the ground, Israel now holds something like 41% only. And the soldiers and Israelis alike are worried that Israel is giving up something because of secret agreements between Trump, Qatar, Hamas, and Israel. From what I understand, this is not the case. There are two reasons why there is a difference. One is that because Gaza has a very tough geographical conditions, in order to have a military control, you sometimes have to locate your bases in a place behind. You can't have your last base on the last inch. This is one thing. And the second thing is that there are places from which hostages are to be brought from tunnels under the ground. So till tomorrow, Israel cannot be there in order not to hinder the efforts of by Hamas to actually bring back all the hostages.
Just briefly, what's your understanding of the extent of Netanyahu and his government's commitment to phase 2 of this plan and to organise and implement the future of Gaza's security and governance?
So it's like a quid pro quo. Israel, and I think most of Israelis would be quite happy if the dirty job of dismantling each and every tunnel and demilitarizing Gaza Strip would be done by outsourcing rather than by the IDF. Only last night, another soldier died of his wounds in a hospital in Israel. However, there is quite a skepticism in Israel that it might be done. First, because of the enemy Hamas, and second, because it takes more than 2 battalions to take care of the entire Gaza Strip. So there is going to be a very, very long negotiation in Egypt, way longer than the negotiation to bring back all the hostages. There is what I would define as a cautious pessimism about the chances of this being agreed. Israel, the Israeli leadership believes it has guarantees for President Trump that if Hamas is not demilitarized, then we saw yesterday the pictures of Hamas so-called police officers guarding Gaza and shooting opposition figures. So Israel might be able to finish the job, as President Trump defined it in the press conference in the White House 2.5 weeks ago. But I think it's a question more of 2026 than 2025.